Hello, 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 welcome. Yes, we are on the Chilli special. Now, I think this might be Chilli number 3 special, but we've got a full team in the house. We've got JB, who's a regular on the Chilli special. JB,
Hello, hello.
lovely to see you, lad, there. Chilli. Now we can relax, JB, and for an hour we can talk Chilli and not worry about the cabbage growers and the parsnip growers. It's Chilli, Chilli, Chilli.
I'm at home.
Yes. Mark, lovely to see
Hello.
you. Now, I'm worried, you know what I mean? Because he's over the wall, as we know.
Yeah.
I don't think chilies are going to grow up that far, man.
Hey,
You might have
it'll
to
be
just get
lovely.
them in a can.
Perfect
They
chilies.
got a nicer flavour up there with the chill
Everything
air.
tastes better up here.
And Jess, lovely. Oh, Jess, lovely to see you. And again, Jessie's is showing off. Mark, this is for you as well as me. Jessie's showing off her fancy bag of compost. If you look over there, I put it up deliberately. All I can get is the crappy Levington's one. You know, and I think you know what it is. I think because we do the odd show, people are rushing out and buying the stuff, and you never get a chance to get it. Do you know what I mean? And Mark, how much did you pay for your compost?
Well, I went to the garden centre yesterday. Is it yesterday? Let's see the date. Yeah, yesterday. And it was closed because in Scotland, when it's Hogmanay, sort of over New Year, it's a double bank holiday.
Yes.
So the first and the second are bank holidays. So it drives up to the garden centre and the gate's shut. I was like, oh, no. And I thought, we've got the chili special, so I need to get my chili seeds sown. And I was going to go today, but for some reason the garden centre is shut today as well. So everyone's got an extra day holiday. So I went to Dobby's, and I know it's Dobby's, but it's like a last resort. And I was looking around. I thought they might have silver growth, or on the off chance they might just, but they didn't. And they had this seed sown compost. I thought, get some of that. And it was only a little bag. It was 25 litres, and I took it to the till, and it was $6.99 for 25 litres. I could have cried. And I know the silver grow people think is expensive, but like we pay about £8 for 40 litres. I think it is at the garden centre along there for me, but £7 for 25 litres. I was devastated. I've used it. I mean, I've been out and used it, and it's lovely compost. It's really nice and fine, and it's quite sandy, which was all right for starting seeds off, but 25 litres isn't going to go far.
Just having your eyes. It's I guess it's like slowly like the season starting. So it's like the true kind of foregoers, they're pushing the boundary. They're going to get hit with the, you know what I mean? The kind of.
It's all the Christmas stuff still in the garden centre as well. You know, 50% off, and it's all the Christmas crap that's left over from the last couple of months.
I think that bag, mind you, is kind of a little bag as well, but that was $4.99. But it's not the bag I want. Do you know what I mean? I want the bag of what Jesse's got, but it's I could have went to another way and getting the what you call a peat one, the clover. So I don't know. Do you think we do kind of just rush into kind of compost though? Because Mark, could you, being up north with chilies, I know we've got to get them in quick. Could you have waited a week or two, or do you need to spend $6.99 on a bag?
No,
that's what I'm trying to say.
I could have waited, but I thought, no, it's the Potty Mouth chili special, dedicated to the cause, and I thought, let's get a lovely little set of chilies.
Very good.
Here, even with a label in it. That's how special it is. It's got a label in it. So that's a variety called Havana Gold, which I got from Grown Local.
Yes.
And speaking of which, Ian sent me a picture of him at the garden centre. I get the silver grow from, and he had a massive trolley full of it. So if I go and there's none left, it's Ian's fault.
Bloody hell! I'll tell you why I like Ian as well's one, mind you. And I was using this, the little QR code on it.
Brilliant.
Because there's no pictures, so you kind of think, all right, and it takes you straight there to the seed, to the plant, to the description, and a lovely picture as well. So I wish because I haven't got as many seeds as JB, because I've seen JB's. It's just horrendous the decisions you're going to have to make, JB, and this is what I'd like to chat to you about it as well. But chili chumps come. I mean, it's tiny little. Don't get us wrong. There's nothing kind of wrong with it, but I just like, a nice big
Too bright, isn't it? Sorry.
But yes, I've got. Well, we'll talk. Jess, are you like us and going to be sowing kind of nowish and every? Are you actually sowing?
Yeah, I rather got overexcited, and I thought that the one we did on Monday, because it was the first. I thought that was the chili special, so I've kind of chili specialed already. But
Oh,
I've got,
madam.
I've got loads and loads of, like, you know, sweet peppers and not hot peppers that I want to sow. So I've got a tray. I don't have a base for this one, so I'm probably just going to end up with compost all over my desk. But we'll see. We'll see. But I want to ask some questions about a lot of these peppers that I've got, because I've never grown them before, just in case anybody else has. So got my pile ready.
Well, actually,
Interesting.
we'll all be kind of looking at JB, to be honest, because I'm in this quandary, JB, where I think what I'm gonna do, like a good restaurant, is just have a very select few on, because I've got that many.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, if you want to make if you want to make like a chili jam, you know how Allotment of the Dead made the chili jam for us. One plant is not
Yep.
going to kind of, you know
Yep.
what I mean? And then you're not going to kind of mix and match. So I'm thinking, you know how I'm having one side chilies? I'm thinking one quad grow, which is 4 pots, is going to be one variety.
Yep.
So that's the way. And I was just wanted to get your thought on that, or anybody's thought on it. You know what I mean? Is it good going that way, or just going hell for leather and having one plant, like loads of plants? And will because this is what I'm thinking about as well, will cross-pollination cause an issue or not? Or
Yeah, so this year I'm moving more towards what you've suggested there. So fewer varieties and more plants of single varieties, you know, because for 4 years now, every year with my chili sowing, I just look at all the new and interesting varieties and go, yeah, got to do that, got to do that, got to do that. I sow way more than I've got space for. I end up cramming all of them into little, you know, nooks and crannies in the greenhouse. Everything gets a little overcrowded. And I've, I've been experimenting for 4 years. So I know the pepper flavors that I really have grown to love. I know the ones that I appreciate the most. And like you say, when it comes to harvest time, it's quite difficult when you've got small quantities of lots of different peppers and figuring out how those flavor combinations go together, which ones you want to try, which ones you might mix together in a sauce. So this year I'm looking forward to, for example, the Ring of Fire, amazing name for a pepper. I'm going to do kind of, maybe 4 or 6 of those plants. And the most I've ever had of a variety is kind of two mature plants. So I'm definitely looking at doing fewer varieties this year, which is still difficult. And when I came to do my list, I decided on most of it yesterday.
right,
Really, really
well,
difficult.
funny enough, I've got the Ring of Fire from Chili Chump. Now, I don't know if Jesse, if you've got Ring of Fire, Mark, what would I do with that one?
That is a fantastic all-rounder. For me, it's my main. I want to make like a nice high vinegar, like a Frank's hot sauce or like a Buffalo hot sauce, and Ring of Fire or Cayenne. Yeah, Cayenne is Ring of Fire is basically a 2 times spicy Cayenne. It's still
Right.
got a bit of sweetness. It's got that smokiness of a Cayenne. Cayenne is like one of the most common peppers, but it's one of my all-time favorites, the Cayenne.
It's funny.
But when you make a sauce, I like it. The Ring of Fire, it's got a bit more poke and a bit more kick. So it's my main kind of sauce pepper. But you can use it fresh in cooking as well. Really good.
Jess, are you a sauce maker with your chilies, or just kind of
Jam. I make a lot of the hot lemon jam. Actually, the hot lemon for everything. I'm just a bit of a raving hot lemon fan, actually. The hot lemon chili powder was the best thing I've ever eaten, or probably made from something I've grown. But also the hot lemon chili jam was also it's just so fruity. Like, it's hot, but it's also got so much other flavor going on. It's just really nice. Yeah.
So what was that one called? I'm just having to.
Is lemon ackee?
Did it come from Ian's? Because I might have it, I might not. I don't think I have, actually.
I'm not sure if Ian's done it.
Do you know where I got my first one from? I've been saving seed from it.
Oh, right.
I've got loads of seed if you want me to send you some. I've got tons of it.
No, I'm falling into my own trap of saying I don't.
Yeah.
How many are you growing of this one then?
Actually, we're talking about, did anyone grow? I know you, the Sugar Rush Sharpie. Did anybody, is it Sugar Rush? What's it?
The stripy.
Stripey.
Stripey, not Sharpie. Sharpie bloody pens, that's what. JB, I've got a great tip for your Sharpie pen, mind you.
Oh,
Oh, it was someone on the comments.
oh yeah.
He said he's older than the trees. Been grown since the trees. And I'm gonna honestly, I swear to God, JB, everyone will have this to help with because the Sharpie pen comes out clear as anything. And look at this as well, Jess. I've sharpened all my pencils for you there as well. I got all them sharpened.
Oh, that's a
But
nice sight.
guess what? Sellotape. So you write your Sharpie on your plastic label,
Hmm.
and then you just put a bit of sellotape over it.
Pencil, no,
Ah.
pencil all
Yeah,
the
no
way.
pencil. I know I don't go
Got
pencil. I
a
know
pencil.
pencil.
A rotring pencil.
But it was for JB, and look what I've had to do as well. So I've got about 1,000 them ones. So I've had to cut them when I've got the packet here. I've had to cut them bloody off to go in the
Oh,
Super
for the
7.
little trays.
Ah.
Yes, yes. I would put a bit of sellotape over the Sharpie, JB. I know you said it fades eventually and you're quite happy with that, but I'm not because I thought, oh,
Yeah, that's cool.
what a little cracking idea that is.
Nice little tip.
Yes. Sorry, Jess, what we're talking about? Oh, you were sending the seeds. Oh, the Sugar Rush Stripey. Did anybody else grow that? You did, JB, didn't you?
Oh yeah, it was a good one. I've struggled to get. I think I've tried to grow it for 2 or 3 years now, and the last 2 years, maybe just 1 year, maybe it just felt like a long time because I really wanted to grow one. But they quite often don't come true because it's an early cross. So I think it was maybe an F4 and F5. And yeah, the ones I got this year from Chili Chomp came true lovely, and they just look spectacular. Not the most prolific, but a decent taste, and you grow them for the look. Amazing Sugar Rush Stripey. I do recommend it as something a bit interesting if you're kind of new to
I've
peppers.
kept the seeds or enough seeds anyways from that crop of mine because I must have hit lucky because they came great as well. I think I got mine from Chili Chump the seeds last year.
Yeah.
Will mine go to that variety, or will it like be an offshoot?
Possibly, you might have cross-pollination. So chili peppers are very promiscuous. So if you've got chili peppers growing together quite close, there's a chance that they cross-pollinate. So the pollen from one flower will go into the flower of another pepper, and that means then that the seed that you get from inside that chili pepper that grows might make a mystery cross. The chances of it happening is kind of hard to quantify. Slightly depends on the pepper. Depends if you're growing peppers which like to cross-pollinate next to each other. You've got annum, baccatum, pubescens, chinense, this kind of thing. I've started doing a lot of my own seed this year, saving it, even though there's a chance that it might not come true. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be fine. But if you're only growing 3 or 4 plants, for example, if you've only got space for 3 or 4, and you're certain that you really want these chilies, it's probably best to either isolate the peppers or buy the seed again from a trusted source. Because if you've only got a limited space and it goes wrong and you grow some kind of mystery pepper, it can be quite frustrating,
I mean, I've always it's just been the Hungarian hot wax, which I haven't went back to, for a couple of years there now, and I should really.
I remember you doing that. Yeah.
Yes. Mark, any thoughts on chili seeds Are you just buy a packet or save a seed type of guy?
Yeah, I've got a terrible habit of buying new ones every year, even though there's some of last year's left. Because I like to try all the different varieties, and it's one of the sort of best things, isn't it, about having your own growing space, is that you can grow all the sort of weird and wonderful stuff that you can't get in shops and supermarkets. But I've got the Sugar Rush Stripey on this year's list. That's coming from Chili Chump.
Nice.
What else have we got? California Wonder, Piri Piri. So I've got ideas. When you mentioned sauce, I thought order some Piri Piri and can I make some piri piri sort of style
Yes.
sauce with those?
One
And
of them
then
as well. That's what you're going to get, Mark.
Inspired by JB with the jigsaw brain, which is a
Oh,
Chili
yeah.
Chump exclusive, super hot apparently. So we'll
Yes.
see how that goes.
What's this one? I missed this one because I've got
Oh.
a bleeding jigsaw.
Yes. So the Chili Chump has crossed that one. He's
So
been
that's-
working on this for ages.
That's a oh.
Yeah, is it gonna focus? Is it gonna focus?
I
It's
haven't got
doesn't
I haven't got
want
the
to.
focus. I haven't got the focusy one on.
Yeah, so he's crossed the jigsaw with one of his brain strains. And he says this is F4 or 5 now, so fairly stable. And he's just started selling it and just stupid hot, absolutely stupid hot, but apparently a very nice flavor as well. So I'm really dialing back on the super hots this year because I do find them quite hard to use, or I'll make them into a sauce and it just lives in the back of the cupboard.
It's the problem.
I was
know?
going to say
with
it's
them?
like it looks great when you pour it in the jar to keep it and that, but they never get used. You know what I mean? It's just like
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And even though I do use mine, they end up in the fridge open, but you just need such a small quantity.
Yeah.
When you've got one of those 125 milliliter Wheezy bottles, you need like a little drop. A teaspoon is too much. So yeah, they just last forever and ever. So I'm only doing 3 super hot varieties this year, which is still quite
Just
a
the
lot.
3.
Yeah, I know. But out of about 30 plants, I think I'm going to have this year.
Did you see? And I just bought it for the sake of it. When Chili Chump, he bit one of them big, what's it called, a big mustard mama. Did you see him do that live one? And Ellie fell off his chair.
I don't know how he does it.
Just went through the whole pain barrier, and I thought I'll just get one of them for kind of the sake of it. So I got.
Oh, you did get one of those. Wow.
So if anybody wants, you know what I mean, I don't know how many. I think there might be 5. I seen one company, selling, and I think it was like 1 seed, and it was like $4.99, and I was like,
crikey,
that's crazy.
And if it doesn't germinate,
exactly.
I know, and my luck, you know what I mean. So, what I wanted to mention, I'll just do screen share. Just have I got the right? Yes, 1 second. I just want to put. I opened a little thing on, if you can see there, we've got a Chili special in the Discord. So that would be lovely if you want to kind of pop over to the Discord now. And it's actually, look at that, everyone's, I'm on the wrong one, am I?
That's a competition.
It's all kicking off. So it'll be a good place. Oh, look, someone's doing the T method.
Yeah.
What's Jobo? Jobo won the parsnip. Oh, he's keen already, man. He's doing the T method. So, Jess, do you do the T method? Is that something you? Well, I'm guessing I'm going to say no because you've already sown them and never. Yes.
There's no tea involved. No tea at all. I've not had any great problems with germination with them. I have a problem after they've germinated. I find it really difficult to get them from that moment where they've got their 2 like seed leaves to get them further than that point is where I struggle. But to get them germinated, I don't have an issue.
You're right, Jess. I mean, germination is a tricky thing because it takes a while. But once they're up there, but it's that. JB, you had it last year. It's that kind of just sitting, dwelling stage, and well, it's the whole lot in the house. Do you know what I mean? Or in the greenhouse, it's kind of you're on a rocky, and especially if you're up north and there's not even a bloody cloud break. But someone's got a greenhouse this year. Someone's going to be flying. What are you, Mark? Then what do you got for heat in there? Just out of curiosity.
Nothing in the greenhouse at the minute. So there is electricity down there because the shed that we've got next to the greenhouse has got power and light in it. So I'm wondering if there's some way I can run a cable from there into the greenhouse, and then that'll power that. But most of the time I keep the stuff in the house for quite a while, so I'll use artificial light and then just use the heat of the house. So to get the seeds going, I've got the Garland Super 7. Because JB will correct me if I'm wrong. It's about 18 to 20 degrees, is it, for a chili seed to
Hotter than
germinate?
that.
Way higher, way
Oh,
higher.
no.
Oh, get it
Yeah,
up.
way
See,
higher.
that's Mark's holiday temperature, man. He thinks that's
That's too
super
hot. Too
70.
hot.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah, over 18 degrees, gonna melt.
But that'll heat the whole house. The Super 7. That's it for the winter. Just have that on. But it'll go on the Super 7, and then I've got a cupboard in the spare room, and I've got a big grow light in there, and then I just keep them in there for ages until it warms up outside, and then eventually they'll move down to the greenhouse.
Well, I'm sure JB were talking, Jess, as well. 28 degrees, is that the kind of optimal 28 degrees?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
So it's a fight, even when you got the Super 7s and all your little propagators to get it up, especially if you're outside. You know, your kind of propagators don't hit that; they'll only go to a certain level above. You know, like the temperature. Say if it's -2, you'll only get your propagators to 10 degrees or something. So
Yeah. I mean, it's not, you don't have to always get it to 28 degrees Celsius to have germination. But as a rule, that is what you want to be aiming for maximum germination, you know, especially if if a lot of specialist, chili packs, if you buy something from Fatali or Chili Chump, you're probably going to get about 10 seeds in a pack. So you really want to get your money's worth. And you want to get maximum germination. So yeah, those kind of mid to high 20s is what you want to be aiming for, I think.
I've seen, because I'll come on to the topic after, but there was allotment for the dead. You know, Jason Pope, who did the chili jam. I watched his little video. He's got 3 Super 7s and he stacks them on top of each other, which I thought was a cracking idea. You know, just for that germination, just like heat. You know, like
yeah.
I'd be a bit worried about ventilation, because you don't want if they start to sprout and come up and you've got the little vents blocked on the top, because they get really condensed, don't they, inside? You wouldn't want the little seedlings sort of damping them off and dying.
I guess
I'd be a bit
once
worried.
they've kind of poked through, germination's happened.
Yeah.
So you can kind of take them. And I also remember Steve saying, as long as your plant's feet are warm, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's definitely one of the tricky things about doing chilies in seed trays. Jesse, we were having a chat about whether you start them in, do you do your varieties in pots or do you do them in seed trays? And one of the advantages with pots is that as soon as they've germinated, you can remove that pot, get it under light. Whereas when you've got a tray, with let's say 40 cells and 20 different varieties across there, they're all going to, some might germinate 2 weeks later than some of the others. So it can be quite difficult trying to manage that microclimate. And like Mark says, the ones that have germinated, you want a bit more ventilation, you want the light on them. And so I use little shot glasses to keep the moisture on the ones that haven't germinated. It's quite a nice little trick.
I'm just remembering last year as we're talking about this, and now I'm thinking, maybe the seed tray wasn't the best choice, because firstly, these polystyrene ones don't fit in the heated propagators, so I was going to stick it on top, which is normally fine. But I also used to sow them individual varieties in like quite long strip trays or individual pots, and where I grow them, the propagator never is going to get hot enough to get them going. So I put them on a metal shelving unit against the radiator, and they're jammed up against that. And one side always germinates first, and then I have to turn them around and germinate the other side to get enough heat. And that's normally in like a little strip pot. So then you can, like, it's like a conveyor belt. Those ones germinate, out they come, those ones. And now I've just looking at my selection there, they're all stuck together in a tray, and I'm thinking maybe that wasn't the best idea.
But Jess, when they're saying there though, next to the radiator is like an ideal thing, but that radiator is not going to be on 24/7. I'm guessing it's going to go on at 4 o'clock, maybe in the afternoon, and off at 10 o'clock at night. So is another chance they can get cold tours?
Yeah, but because they're also on top of the heated propagator, they never really drop down that much.
Right.
Like, and they're not in a draft or anything, so they just kind of get that extra burst of heat, like 3 times a day or whatever it is, and it does seem to work.
But heating on 3 times a day.
Goodness, can't hide money.
So
I'm still wearing a hat in the house. Yeah, but they're like, but I suppose they are in rows. I've planted them that way rather than just individually. So even if I just germinate one side and the other side, I'll still get 2 of each plant.
You'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
you know, isn't it? This is the thing with chilies, though. It's like from the get-go, it's like you're fiddling about, and like it's like, what's that method called? You know, you kind of sticky tape here and a bit of like help there and a bit of praying. Yeah, do you know what I mean? That's why I think it is. It's such a challenge to get them. Do you know what I mean? Kind of. Mark, how long you actually been growing chilies for then?
Oh, so this is my 4th year doing chilies, I think. So I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I've not put a lot of effort in. I generally go through the same routine every year, pick some seeds in the trays, on the propagator, out to the polytunnel, and hope something grows. I mean, luckily they have done. They've generally been pretty good. And there was, I think, was it last year, the year before, I did one called Basket of Fire. And
Yes.
I just did that in a pot in the polytunnel because I had some seeds. I thought, let's do it. What an amazing looking plant that is. Loads of, like, hundreds of tiny little chilies about that big all over this plant. And because they all ripen at different times, you've got green ones, orange, yellow, red on this plant. In the height of summer, what an amazing looking thing. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, just I'm sure it's my 4th year doing chilies. So an amateur.
I know it's well, you know what I mean. I haven't been growing them that long. It's like I think chilies are a new thing. Yeah, tomatoes. You know what I mean. But
Aye.
it's like I think like the variety of chilies as well. You know, there was probably 5 years ago not that many varieties kind of popping around, but now it seems like there's just you can get anything. And this is what I was gonna do. And I've went and bought some as well. You know, let's just show you. Wait on.
What's he done? What's he done now?
No, that's
What's he got?
just. I've actually got to share my screen. 1 second. It's just there. Can you see this?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
I see.
Oh,
these
Red Dragon.
these are these I don't know how you pronounce that. Haijiao space chili
Haijiao?
seeds. Have you heard?
Wow. Yeah.
So apparently a
Goodness.
strain of these, or you know, like a kind of a seed of a seed of a plant of a plant of a plant, went up in space, and
Oh,
and
no
you
way.
can they give like a good crop. So again, 12 o'clock at night, I ordered the whole 10 from. Actually, and to be honest, Red Dragon, it's got a lovely like selection of seeds as well. You know what I mean? So. But this was just like a one kind of bracket paragraph of them. You know what I mean? When I thought, oh, but I actually like this Big Bang Space chili because I want to, after watching Chili Chumps competition where they had some big fruit at chilies, I fancy, and I quite like that just growing like a nice size. Look at that thing there.
Look
Yeah,
quite cool,
funky.
don't
like
they?
grew
What was that, Jess?
they grow like a corkscrew. They look lovely. The green picture, they look really
Oh, I know.
twisted.
So yeah,
Beautiful.
so yes, I've got, and they're probably going to arrive. So there's 10 there. I think I've got 14 of Ian's Grunwogel and 10 of. So anyway, we'll just we'll just have to muddle through. But I'm thinking, JB, I'm right. Is like you say, I don't want like red hot ones because you just waste the time. But I would like some nice ones. You know what I mean? Like kind of flavor. So what, JB, if you had to name one chili then for someone starting off, what would you advise?
It's always the cayenne for me. It's like it's if you ask a kid to draw a chili pepper, they kind of draw a cayenne. You know, it's kind of ubiquitous. If you're really not into spicy food, it might be a bit hot for you. I remember when I first hit 100 subscribers, I ate a cayenne, and they do have poke. If you have one raw, you're fine after a few minutes, but they are a bit. Woo. So you know, if the jalapeno is like the hottest thing that you're used to eating, or maybe that's too hot, then a cayenne's probably going to be a bit much. But you can still make a sauce with it, or you could dilute it, or you can use it in cooking. Really nice. It just has, like, when you get a fresh cayenne, it's just that mixture of sweetness and smoke. I think it's just fantastic. I think it's one of the great peppers to kind of get you enthused about the different flavors that you can get out of a pepper.
So
You know?
it hasn't got the heat though of oh mamma mia. It hasn't got
It's
one
not
of
a
them
Mamma
kind
Mia
of
pepper.
them
It's not a
kind of
Mamma Mia. Not
that
quite.
Jimmy,
No.
that will live in my mind. Oh mama, oh ah.
That was a Mamma Mia pepper, that one, yeah.
Jess, I've asked you what was your favorite one called again? That
So far, I mean, I have not grown a huge number of chilies. I've grown cayenne. It was lovely, but because it's kind of a bog standard one, I've kicked it off the list this year because I'm trying to reduce as well. But yeah, it was like lemon ahi is so far in terms of like usability, it's not whoppingly hot, but it produces a lot of fruit, the plant, and they seem to grow really consistently well, and they taste great. So currently they're in the running for me.
where Jess JB are they in like the heat scale? Is one hotter than is yours, Jesse, hotter than JB's cayenne? Is it, or are they roughly the same?
I think they're pretty similar. They're around that kind of 20, 30,000 Scoville mark, those two. The jalapeno is around 5,000.
Well, funny enough, I think I'm going to grow some jalapenos. Jalapenos. That sounds as if I live in Bristol. I say jalapenos. I think I'm going to grow some of them just so you can kind of chop them up and just put them in, anything, in nachos and cheese and just
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
They're
like
good to
You
pickle.
know,
Jalapeno poppers, classic.
Oh,
So
yes.
good.
Yes.
one of the peppers that I really enjoy growing that I'm going to grow again, actually, that is not a hot one at all, was the Turkish kill peppers. They grow quite similar to sort of a Corbaci type. They're not particularly hot, but they pickle fantastically. Like at the kebab shop where you get those big, like twisted green
Yes.
pickled chilies. Just like that. They are absolutely magic. Really, really nice. But these ones are just fantastic pepper. And beautiful as well. And they're like this sort of length. They're no small chili, just really spindly, like lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And them kept seeds, Jess, then the ones in the little brown envelope, was that your kept seeds? Or
These ones tough. Like when I first, so about, I'm still using them. I don't know how long chili seeds last, but somebody gave these to me on Instagram. Would have been probably about 2019. She had saved them. I won some competition and she had saved them, and she sent me these, and they're such a good pepper. So I've been growing them ever since.
and would you not, Jess, would you not keep them chili seeds, or do you just keep on using like
using them? Like the thing with I said when we like on the last week's one was that the two that I've saved that I find come really consistently has been the lemon ahi and also the orange habanero. I've had no like crossover or deterioration of the seed. Like they seem to come true. Also, because I dry quite a lot of them, I end up with seed. Whereas these, because I pickle them fresh, you sort of don't just find yourself with tons of the seed. So I haven't saved them, but I believe these were her saved seed originally. So
I've never pickled chilies, to be honest. That's we'll have to in future shows, Jess will have to have a demonstration, miss.
Oh,
miss.
Absolutely.
kitchen mode. That'd be good.
Mark, have you got a favorite one, or
This one I did last year, Kashmiri, it was called, and that was actually really tasty. I didn't get loads of fruit off the plant. It was only maybe about half a dozen or so, but it was really, really tasty. It's not like mega hot either. There's not loads of heat in it, but it was really, really tasty flavor to it.
see now? JB, was that not the one you recommended to grind up? Because
it's quite a mild 1,000 to 2,000 Scoville, the Kashmiri. And were you eating them? Did you eat them raw, Mark, fresh?
More sort of cooked in. I did have a little taste, but when you're eating them sort of like that,
you're timid, aren't you? You're very timid.
Even a little bit on a toothpick, you just sort of like, oh, that's a bit, But not mainly sort of chop them up and cook them into things.
Okay,
but
yeah, nice.
I need to get like I've seen Audrey doing it before, and the way she preserves things and keeps things is is
guru.
phenomenal. I need to
Yeah.
get much better at sauces, jams, powders. And I don't know if anybody's ever. Does anybody have a dehydrator? Is anybody used to dehydrator? If they're any good or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
so
definitely
good.
worth it.
Ah,
Yeah. Totally thought it was going to be a gimmick.
Yeah.
Another one of these things that I buy and goes in the back of the cupboard and never sees the light of day again. And it hasn't. It's barely gone away. I've been using it for all sorts.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
Jess
what?
hates mine. It's always like just getting moved around the kitchen.
In the background, like constantly.
Yeah.
What? So you can put chilies in. What will the chilies come out like then, Jess?
Well, just dried, really. Like I was
Like
saying last
crisp.
week, like
I
you
know
just
that.
nip
All right,
bottom.
JB. I'm asking for other folks
Sorry.
as well. You know, I mean, I know they're going to come out dried. Are they going to come
No,
out?
but I mean, they come out quite like they keep their colour really well because they're being dried like under consistent conditions.
Thank you, Jesse, for being a bit sensible here in this bloody. You know what I mean? That, you know, I want a proper answer, not a snigger.
I was saying last time, like you don't have to completely dry things off. Like you can sort of half dry chilies and stuff, and then you get a different flavour from them than you would when they're completely fresh or totally dried. And
I tell you why. Jess, I was asking. So, could I put them in? Because I don't want to kind of like you say buy it and it ends up. Could you put them in, take them out the next day, and actually crush them up to be like chili powder, chili flakes? Does it do it like that? Will it?
I mean, it probably take longer than a day.
Yeah.
Like, they do take a long time. It's not a quick process, but if you space them out really well and you just stick them in there for a couple of days, and then they come out completely ready to just be either ground up or you
All
just
right.
crumble them with your fingers.
Right.
I find it really useful for herbs and stuff as well, because when I hang herbs, they tend to kind of because I hang them in the kitchen. It's steamy in the kitchen when you're doing stuff. They never really dry that fantastically, and I've had a lot of problems trying to dry chilies. When you string them and they look beautiful, but often when I go to crumble them, there's like quite a lot of like grey plumes of sort of mold inside them that they haven't dried out properly, whereas doing them in the hydrator like just solved all of those problems.
Yeah, there's a big difference between stringing up a chili pepper in a dry arid country and doing it in the UK, especially after harvest, which is when we're going into winter. It's quite challenging, I think, to get them straight. If you've got them like up over a fire or even over a radiator and you've got the heating on 3 times a day, maybe. But yeah.
I remember doing it, like the needle and thread, and they seemed like I say, but the amount that what I thought was going to be great, a crushed down, it ended up being like a little kind of tub full, you know what I mean? And it went in, do you know what I mean? It went straight away. Do you know what I mean?
You do need a lot.
We actually buy, I think they're probably from Costco's, like bags of chili flakes. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like handful here, well, not handful, but you know what I mean? Fair good amount goes so that, to grow that amount we use, I don't think we could possibly do it. So
yeah, it's worth mentioning as well. It does depend on the pepper. So you get kind of thick and thin-walled peppers, and obviously the thin-walled peppers, like your cayenne, is good for drying. If you some of them are thick like a bell pepper, So if you try and put that in a dehydrator, it'll take a week. If you're trying to make like paprika powder or something like that.
My black jalapenos in the dryer wasn't a success.
Yeah, that's not a drying pepper really. The
no,
jalapeno.
I thought I might be able to, by opening it up and I'd be able to cover nothing. No, it just went awful.
Yeah.
All right, well, I might say I'll be a total amateur, and then I might just kind of not.
Thinking about that though, so not a pepper, but not a chili pepper. The Frigatello, I've talked about these ones before. This was just like, Thompson and Morgan bog standard. I only grow them because they came free on the front of a magazine one time. Such a good pepper. It grows like a Romano, like big long chappy like this, but they're pale green and their walls are really, really thin. And last year I stuck some of these in the dryer and made a powder out of them. So it was like a pepper powder. So good. Normally really be able to dry out like a bell pepper, but these have got such a thin skin and thin wall. They were amazing. They were so good.
So what do they taste like then, Jeff? Are they just like a fruit pepper, like a fruity?
tastes very much like a green bell pepper. You know, it's
Right.
that kind of flavor. Apart from the fact that they're really, really thin, so it's like, yeah, just a really skinny. But they're big, so you get quite a lot of fruit for each
Mhm.
fruit, if you see what I mean. But it's just really skinny, and the skins are really thin.
And
So
where you growing them then? Where will you kind of start them off exactly like what you do now, and it'll take a long season and eventually up to the polytunnel? Is it like that?
yeah, I mean, last year they were a complete fail. I didn't get a single fruit off them, which was really upsetting. But the year before, I had two of them growing in the polytunnel, and they were magnificent. They were really, really fab. But it just didn't work last year. So I'm hoping this year.
It's isn't it? It's like you never can tell. Do you know what I mean? You can.
Ah,
That's why you'll get comments. We'll probably get comments on this. You know, like, oh, you're too early. You're too early. But all you need is like a mishap. You know what I mean? And then you kind of you're screwed really. And you some of them need. JB, I was going to ask you there. What which variety then, or can you name a couple that would are a long growing? Do you know what I mean? Because I can grow
Yeah.
tomatoes and finish the tomatoes, and the things that the chilies are still there. You know what I mean? Not ripe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, pretty much all of them will keep going like as long as they can until the frosts really hit. Um, the quickest growing generally are the annum. So there's five kind of I don't know the technical term. We'll call them strains or varieties. There's kind of five main ones of capsicum. So you've got your annum, your chinense, your frutescens, your pubescens, and your baccatum. And generally,
Have you
if
got
you're a
that?
bit
Have you got that wrote down
I
somewhere?
was
It's on
just
your
making a
heavy-
note. There's
'Cause
always
that is
one that I
very
never
impressive,
remember.
to be honest with you.
The annum are the most common. So annum is your bell pepper. That's in the same variety. It's your cayenne. It's the frigatello that you were just talking about. It's a traditional kind of pepper. They're really good. They're going to go pretty quick. They're one of the faster growing, and they ripen nice and quickly as well. The longer season ones, in particular, I would say are the baccatum and the chinense. So the chinense, we're talking about the hots, the habaneros, the super hots, the Carolina Reaper, the big mustard mama, the jigsaw. They're a bit slower. They've got the lovely, gorgeous, broad leaves. Definitely slower to grow, need a bit more temperature to get germinated, and they take a long while to ripen and do their thing. So they're the ones that often people will be starting now, and then maybe they'll start their annums at the end of January. I can do mine all at the same time, but annums are going to grow a lot quicker. Baccatum are interesting. They're a lot of so the archi lemon, that's a baccatum. The kind of fruitier, the floral, the slightly more interesting flavors quite often a capsicum baccatum. And some people are put off by kind of the floral stuff. I'm really growing to like some of my favorite ones are baccatum, sugar rush stripey. It's a baccatum, got slightly floral, slightly sweet notes. They grow pretty quick. They got a kind of softness to them. They look like a soft plant, delicate plant, but they take a long time to ripen. That's the thing about the baccatum, and a reason that you want to start baccatum early is those pods can be green on your plant for a good 4 weeks before they finally get some color in them. So if you're time constrained, do annum a bit later in the season. But if you're looking at frutescens, pubescens, all the others, start as early as possible, I would say, for sure.
And kind of we're doing it now, JB, or within the next kind of few days. Are we really too early, or are we kind of a good time?
We're you don't have to start this early at all. But if you're aiming for good big crops, big pots, big plants, the earlier the better, for sure. If you're only using natural light, I would say it's way too early. You're just going to get leggy plants that end up in the compost bin. Unless you've got like a south-facing window or a conservatory or something where you can really maximize the light, maybe you can build a little foil reflector box, that kind of thing, then you might be able to get away with January. But otherwise, I would say wait until mid-February. The other thing to note as well, we are starting really early, but some of my seeds, I haven't sown them yet. I'm going to do them in the next few days. They're going to take 3 weeks to germinate. A lot of the capsicum, the hot ones, the chinense especially, I find even with 28 degrees, they're going to take a little while, especially if you're not doing the tea soak, and maybe your propagator is only getting up to kind of 22, 24 degrees. Sometimes they can take 4 or 5 weeks. I've had ones that have taken that long before. So there's a myriad of reasons to start early. I think, if you can.
You know, there's a product waiting to be made there, like a chili propagator, 28. Just dial it, click it on 28 degrees. You know what I mean? All the propagators just don't go up to that kind of temperature.
The one I've got is the Stewart's 50 watt, and it's got a good temperature probe. So you stick that in the soil, it goes up to 30. You click it on, and you can hear it clicking on and off, which means it is getting up to temperature. It's a good. You fit 2 full-size seed trays in it. It's a good one.
So, JB, again, like Jess, have you got extra heat radiators going on constantly, or is that good enough for it by itself without any extra heat?
I do. It's a combo of being next to the radiator and just a bog standard like heated propagator. They never ever get that hot. Those just, the standard ones you just plug in. There's no temperature gauge. There's nothing. It's either just on or off.
Yeah.
But I find that is not hot enough to get them to go. But where I put them in the sitting room, actually, I'm just thinking there's a chair there now. I'm gonna have to do something about that.
Get rid of it. get the chilies in. Get rid of the furniture.
Not necessary.
Your mum's in the chair.
Just wheel around. Yeah. No, it's just one of those like metal, bookshelf things, stand, and just jam it in there right up against the radiator. There's a big curtain next to it. It doesn't tend to lose a massive amount of heat like between radiator coming on. So although it's probably not ideal and it's not totally consistent, it does seem to kind of get them up to there. But I do have I'm pointing upwards because I'm using my grow lights as my lighting for on here. But yeah, I've got grow lights and stuff as well, so like they just get enclosed in that.
I did that once with the grow lights. Welcome Mars Hydro sent us 3 of these kind of 350 quid things that are up there, and I did that once, Jess. I couldn't see a thing. Do you know what I mean? They're so bright, and
you're not meant to look
down,
at them.
But now I was kind of like,
yeah. Mine are the bendy ones, like this.
All right.
So it's just like an octopus array up there.
So are they actual grow lights? So they'll do for chilies.
Yeah.
Right. They're not just kind of like a light bulb or a light tube.
No, they're a proper grow light.
Yeah. That's what you've got to kind of have some sort of thing. I mean, I'm chancing me luck I'll germinate in here, which is a kind of dark room, but then they'll go in the greenhouse, but I'll have it cooking. But again, it's northeast England, you know what I mean? But we've got a little bit more sunshine than Scotland, but not that much more. So
Gee, that's a good point. Like they need 28 degrees or hot to germinate. Like when I get them to germinate, I then take them out of that heat. Is that why they then just stop?
You definitely want them to be warm, and not too hot. I think if once they've germinated, you leave them under 28 degrees, I don't think it's optimal. Which leaves me with a big issue because I've got half of them popping up, and I'm pointing because that's where the station is back there. You get half of them popping up, and I end up trying to tone the heat down a little bit. I don't think it's going to do them massive harm, but I'm also always mindful of like not wanting to shock them. So not wanting their soil to go from 28 degrees to room temperature. We run our house quite cold. So even in this, which is the warmest room, it's going to be 18, 19, mostly 17, 18 sort of. So
freezing that.
Yeah, it's just trying to not shock them. I think is quite important. They like a nice consistent, if you're going to change it, do it over a slow period. So slowly turn the heat down.
What I'm doing, Jess, is I've got it's kind of set over there. But once they germinate, what's actually keeping them, what's making the temperature is one of them heat mats. So it's just like a plastic heat mat. So I'm going to put that in the polytunnel, in the greenhouse. And it's like waterproof. It doesn't matter if it gets wet. But I always like to say, Steve always said, keep things that, what need it, like the toes warm. So I'll just have that cooking. And it might not be as warm in the greenhouse around a bit, but hopefully the toes will be 28 degrees or kind of up there anyway. So
yeah,
that's the plan. But I've found them heat mats are are a whiz. You know what I mean? They're kind of like a cheat as well. So, which, and I guess anything's a cheat if you can get it. You know what I mean?
It is a really good point. I think a lot of plants are more sensitive to the soil conditions than they are the air conditions, and it's easy to kind of forget that. I think chilies are the same. It's like my chilies that are still going. You know, we've had frosts, but the soil never froze, so they're still going. They're still alive in the polytunnel. Well, one is the one survivor. I've still got one Kashmiri going in the tunnel.
And
January.
what are you going to do with that one, Jibby? Just, I guess, let it go.
I'm hoping that that it's full of green pods, so I'm just still hoping that they ripen. Because I couldn't bring myself to compost the entire plant when there's like 50 green pods on it. And I'm not a big fan of green chilies, and these are ones for drying. So I really want that Kashmiri flavor to come through.
Well, I haven't heard of this then. In theory, when will they ripen?
Who knows? Who knows? It's normally it would be based on kind of 4 weeks. You can expect a pod to ripen in 3 to 4 weeks, I would say. But once it goes cold and you don't get the heat and you don't get the daylight hours, it needs all of those things to ripen the fruit. So as long as the plant can hang on, we've had like a bit of sunshine today poking through the clouds, so the tunnel will have warmed up, and maybe over time, they'll ripen. There's still a few ripening, so it's
I'm
still
incredibly optimistic.
Yeah, we try. I've called off the rest, so.
Well, when you think about it, it's lasted this long. So is there still green leaves on it then, Jim?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And do you water it?
A little bit. Bit. Just as and when it needs it.
You talk to it?
Maybe.
You sing to it?
Come on, you can do it.
Jimmy, have you still got your tomato plant there at handy or not?
Oh, yeah.
Look at this.
Ta-da.
Goodness.
This is my one surviving tomato side shoot. So I was talking a big talk, kind of October time, I guess, about taking some side shoots and then trying to overwinter them for free plant next year. Especially if you've got F1s. If you've got F1 varieties, it can be quite handy. Unfortunately, most of them had blight. So I took them all, repotted them on, and most of them had blight in the tunnel. But this one has survived, the orange accordion. And it's just ticking along really nicely. It's looked pretty much like this since the middle of November now, and it just lives on the windowsill. And a lot of people were asking me, they were saying, doesn't it, get massive over winter? No, it's not gone leggy. It's not doing anything bad. They will just kind of sit there dormant over winter on the windowsill. It's not getting too much sun. It's like an east-facing windowsill, and it's ticking along nicely. Quite happy.
Has it got roots in? It has rooted away.
Yeah, there's just one that started poking out the other day that I think has been kind of held off. But yeah,
right.
It's happy.
Yep. Well, anything? What else we got? So Jess, what's your hottest chili going to be then? Do you know what your hottest chili is you're growing?
Well, that's the missing one. The boot Jolokia. I've got my space still left at the end of that tray. I haven't found it. I've been through everything, but it's got to be here. But that one is really, really hot by all accounts.
Don't think I've got one. Oh, I've got one there.
I think it was the hottest pepper in like 2006 or something. I think that was when it kind of lost its.
It's a fierce, really, really fierce pepper. I mean, I like hot foods, don't get me wrong, but like not pain, not real like bone deep chili pain.
It's a great flavor pepper.
To try like before, because like when you're growing them, or in fact, I mean, if you buy them wherever, you always get quite a variation between like 2 different pods, even if they're from the same plant. Sometimes they can be really quite different. So I always get mum to try them first before I cook with them, because I've got the excuse that if I'm cooking, I don't want to not have any taste buds left because I'm cooking the damn thing. So sorry, let's say that. But some of the things that I've given her, like she's ended up eyes streaming, hiccups, like glass of milk, long suffering.
I remember, I think I did it.
The next time I'm super cautious with the same chili, and nothing. not a sausage. So
I did. I grew a ghost pepper, but it was a white one. I remember it being a white one, some sort of ghost thing, and I just put one in like a bolognese dish. Just I thought, well, you know what I mean, man, it spoiled the whole dish.
Yeah.
It's just like, because I thought like, oh well, cooking it's going to calm it down, which it normally do. You know what I mean? It kind of normally does, but this thing, whatever it was, and that's nowhere near the hottest. These hot, you know, like super hot things come out. But man, just the dish was like, and when you've eaten like a hot curry or something or a hot dish, you can't eat that much of it. You get full pretty quickly. I do, anyways. You know, so it's like it all went away. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's enough for me.
So in September or October, are we going to do a potty mouth chili tasting special?
Oh, we've got to.
Yeah,
Yes.
live.
Yes, Mark. Live pepper eating is something.
That's not going to work. It's
Yeah.
because all that will happen.
just one bit more.
I'm talking from a producer's point of view.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have 4 people going
Yeah.
and hiccuping. Do you know what I mean? Like, who's going to run the show? I mean,
It'll run itself. Don't worry, Tony.
what we
yeah, we won't grow the producer lock here.
we should actually do like a challenge as well, because we've had like a parsnip challenge last year. We should do like we should have to agree on growing a certain chili, and then I don't know, is it big or
Oh, that's an interesting one. Ian was saying that one of his most popular sales of his chili varieties is the merch masala. You know, the is that what it's called? Have I just completely made that up? I think it's a Kashmiri type. Let me boot up a program to double check.
I will jump over to Ian's page. So this is Ian's Grown Local. So please come under the link below on the website when you've watched this show, and you can actually see all of Ian's what he's got in stock. So he's got 15 in, and I'm guessing this is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, this selection. So what were you saying it was called?
Yeah, if you scroll up a little bit,
Yeah, if you go up a bit.
The merch masala. Up one more.
Up again, second in.
Second in, yeah.
All right.
Click on that and see what it says. We can have a little look.
£1.29. That's cheap as well.
Oh, I know.
Oh, his seeds are so cheap.
Scoville 30,000.
Okay, 30,000 to 50,000. That's fairly hot.
So what if? I mean, what would you be looking for, JB, if we had a competition? We picked something like this one to, because you're not going to get like a heavy one by the look of them plants, or
yeah, I think we do it similar to the parsnips. You know, just a bit of a friendly grow along. You know, not necessarily a competition, because something like this you could look at. If you were really trying to be competitive, I would be looking at pepper weight. So people weighing all of their harvests, but there's no way to judge that because the harvests come in dribs and drabs, and I don't want to watch like 5 minutes of everyone weighing like 10 different harvests. But you know, maybe just see who gets the biggest, best looking plant. The thing that was really nice about the parsnip competition was just everyone, you know, sharing what they were up to.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, maybe do that in the
well,
grow
I
along.
suppose, yeah, we just kind of, you know, if you go to the Discord, Jess, was this the one you were talking about?
It's a classic.
How pretty is that? It's so beautiful.
Looks good.
Yeah,
and they
classic.
do just like that, and they're really like
Hot.
see, well, they are warm, but they're like they're beautiful and fruity and really quite open inside. You know, they're not like dense. They're just a really gorgeous chili.
What Jess, what kind of size are we talking with them ones? Are we right?
So I don't know if that's no scale, really, is it? You don't know how big my hand is, but like, do I have a ruler? Yeah. So probably 4 centimeters ish from is it calyx?
Oh, yeah.
to the fruit underneath.
Botany.
Very technical.
Like that, I'd say, yeah, about like that. And they're just lovely, really just a pretty shape. They look beautiful on the plant because they hang really nicely underneath the branches, and it's a lovely looking plant. Anyway, it's got like quite flattened leaves where it grows. It's just a joy, absolute joy.
Well, I know I've got all of Grown Locals, Ian. So there's that Machu Picchu one there. I've got that. So I might have the kind of me set to. And what would you make chili jam with that then, Jess? Is that one you can make?
I have done, and it makes a really beautiful color as well. Look, it's a
Really?
real like golden honey color. It's magnificent.
They
Absolutely
are
lovely.
very hot.
So
They are very, very hot habaneros. If you're not used to hot peppers, that's kind of a lot of people's first hot pepper, either a Scotch bonnet or a habanero. And a habanero is about twice as much as a Scotch bonnet. They are fiery. Good fun.
They
though.
are, but they're so good, particularly because they're also quite fruity. Like if you just chop them up, put them in a little cup of butter. I was saying this last week, like in the butter in the microwave for like 10 seconds and just make this burning, hot, bubbling fire. Tip it over your dinner. It's the best. Absolute
Nice,
best.
nice. I thought I
Mark,
was doing the orange habanero. I've been looking through this is my little collection of all the ones I'm doing today, and it's not in here. But I have got one called the Hainan Yellow Lantern, which is very similar. Very similar that I've been wanting to try for years. So I'm going to do that. Similar, 30,000, 300,000, sorry, Scoville on that one.
but it's not. That's not the same plant, so it's not going to taste the same.
I think they do have a similar taste.
Oh, right.
I think a better taste. It's one of Chili Chump's favorites, that one, the Hainan Yellow Lantern, Chinese pepper.
Oh, have I got that? Oh, JB. Oh, because we bought there was like a seed.
Oh, is it in the seed kit?
Well, I've got it. Well, no, the Hainan Yellow Lantern one.
That's the one.
Yeah. So it must have come in the seed kit. So I've got that one as well. So right, I've probably
The
got
little chili pepper seed packet.
So when are you first sowing then, JB?
You know, I should have done it on the first. I like to do it on the first, but it's been a bit frantic. So I really want to get a video out and go to the plot and get lots done. So Friday at the latest. I think Friday or Saturday at the latest. So the 5th or the 6th.
I mean,
for me.
We can kind of talk about this the next time as well, but I'm just wondering quickly about vermiculite, perlite in with seeds. Is that a must?
Yeah. So one thing to watch out for if you're doing compost for chilies, in particular, a potting mix or a compost for chilies, is be a little bit careful about water retention. So mixes that are heavy on the coir or the those little pellets that you get for like hanging basket mixes and that kind of thing. That can put chili seedlings off. They still, even at a young age, they like it a bit more moist than an adult pepper, but you've still got to be a bit careful of overwatering. And if you've got a compost mix that really holds on to water for a long time, that can put them off. I know Chili Chump did some tests of different substrates and medium for sowing seeds, and he found if you used coir, it was they got off okay, and then would just drown basically because it was too wet. So Silver Grow has coir in it, but Silver Grow works brilliant. So it's about the balance. So just be a little aware, I would say.
Jimmy, would you put in Silver Grow? Would you put perlite and for seeds, not for plants or seedlings?
I think for seedlings, if you were going to add anything, it would be a little bit of perlite, I would say. Generally, I think from memory, is this right? When I do so, it's just straight into compost. But I think this year I might do just a little bit of perlite. And then normally it's the first potting on from seed tray or first pot into the normal pot. That's when I start making up the mix with vermiculite, perlite, all the good stuff.
Well, I think we'll leave it there, shall we, for today's? We'll come back in a month's time, and we'll all our little seedlings.
All the little seedlings.
Everything, there'll be more.
There'll be no problems. Nothing will have gone
They'll
wrong.
all be beautiful.
That's what's going to be the nice thing about it. You know what I mean? Is like finding out, has it worked? Do you know what I mean? Or you know, because it sometimes everyone fails. You know what I mean? So
get all competitive now.
Well, no, I mean, I'm going back to Jess. You know, when Jess had that nightmare with the tomatoes, Jess. You know, with the water, the kind of flushing of the water.
Yeah.
You know, it just wiped out a whole tomatoes out, you know, so you never know what's round the corner. And, you know, so we just.
I had fungus gnats, as you call them,
Oh,
well,
God.
in the compost
Pain.
last year, and loads of tomato seedlings again, gone.
Mhm.
What an absolute pain.
Wow, they actually saw.
Yeah,
saw 'em off.
lesson learned on that one. It's a very sore
Right.
lesson.
Well, listen, big thank you, Jesse. It's been lovely to have you on again. You know what I mean? Thank you very much. Mark,
Pleasure as always.
it's going to be interesting to see, you know, if
Yeah.
North
Scottish chilies. Yeah.
North can grow in them climates. That would be, you know what I mean? or they'll just be like, you know, when you see roofs and there's like the snow on other roofs, but there's no snow on one, it's going to be just your roof's going to be melted. There's going to be heat. JB, lovely to have you as well, sir. Thank you very much. Our
Thank you.
resident expert.
Always a pleasure.
Always
like
a
Mark
pleasure.
says.
Yes. Never a chore. Right then, chaps, ladies, everyone, take good care and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thanks all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.